Hey, Bill.
Morning. How are we doing?
Good. All around disappointing result last night, and I just wanted to ask you, going into that game, I think you said this last night. Essentially the plan was for Mac to just play those first three series. Is that accurate?
No.
No. Okay.
No. We were going to play both quarterbacks, and that's what we did.
Okay.
Bill,
what went into the decision when it came to making the change from Mac to Bailey Zappi?
Right, we made a change. That was what we were planning to do. So we did that, and the game, got out of hand there in the third quarter, and so I didn't feel like it was in the best interest to put Mac back in the game.
So, Bill, when you look at
That's really it.
That's it?
That's it.
Yeah.
When you talk about getting out of hand a little bit, when you look into that situation about, trying to put a guy back in, is a big part of it the time of possession? Because it seemed like Chicago really, they were able to dominate in that area. Does that also go into the effect of the thought process when you're, potentially rotating guys back in and out?
Yeah, it was more about the score and the time that was left in the game.
Bill, I know that there was talk that Mac's injury played into this a little bit still. He said that he doesn't like to put percentages on how far along he was. Did you guys have that conversation where he gave you a percentage, and what was that? And did he tell you that it was bothering him during the game, and that's why he came out when he did?
No, Courtney, is what I just said it was, that we had planned on doing what we did, and that's what we did.
It appeared after the game, Bill, that several of your players were unaware of that plan. How would there be such a lack of communication on such an important position?
I talked to the quarterbacks, talked to the leaders of the team. Everybody knew what the plan was. I mean, not every single person, obviously. I wouldn't talk to every person about another player's role in the game. That's just, they all have their jobs to do, but there was no lack of communication.
Bill, as you continue to progress throughout the season, is this kind of the approach that you feel like that you might want to take moving forward until one guy really solidifies themselves as being able to take complete control?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the situation at all.
Bill, I know you preach, eliminating the noise and not paying attention to that noise, whether it be fans or media. But you've done this for a long time. Can it be detrimental to a player when it comes to a confidence level if they are going into a week not necessarily feeling like they're the guy, they're the starter?
Yeah, I don't know. This league's about competition. We have a lot of competitive players on our team. I've never really thought that was the case.
Bill, when you look at the defense, it felt like Justin Fields was able to run all over the place. I know you said after the game that it starts with coaching and then trickles down. How do you turn this thing around on a short week as you head into the Jets?
We have a lot of things we need to improve from last night, so we'll start working on them today.
Bill, after looking at that film, when you see like some of the plays that Justin Fields was able to make, do you think it was more? There was a few broken down plays where he dropped back and he was able to pick up some yards with his legs. What do you feel like defensively might have been your biggest issue to either allowing those plays or some of the quarterback design runs that led to him having that type of performance?
Well, I think the biggest problem really was third down. That's where a lot of big plays came, and those plays kept drives going and kept us on the field and led to more plays. So when you play as poorly as we did on third down, then that's going to lead to a lot of other problems. We had a lot of opportunities to get off the field on third down, and we weren't able to do it. Some scrambles, some extended plays that were passes. It was a variety of things, but in the end, we were on the field too long defensively because we couldn't get off the field. We had a chance to get off the field. Now, there were other problems on early downs as well, but, I mean, ultimately, if you can't win on third down, then you're going to be out there all day, and that's what happened.
Were you able to see enough last night from either one of those quarterbacks to determine who your starter is this Sunday?
Yeah, we'll do what we feel like is best for the football team.
The Jets are 5-2. What have you seen out of them that's made them so successful so far this season?
And I think they've improved in every area. They've added some players to their roster and won some close games. Done the things that you need to do to win this league, and yeah, they've been impressive.
Bill, offensively, you guys have been successful. It looks like, in the play action area. When you go into the game, is the mindset that you kind of figure out like, well, hey, we're going to have 30% of the offensive game plan. We want to try to have some play action, or is it something is more about the flow of the game based on how you run in the football?
Yeah, I think it's the same. Really, it's the same every week. You go into the game with a game plan on offense, defense, and special teams, and then as the game unfolds, you may or may not have to adjust that game plan based on what our opponents are doing and how things are working out. So it's really the same way every week. What the initial plans are the initial plans. Sometimes it goes close to that script. Sometimes it doesn't, and you have to make adjustments. That's the National Football League. So each week it's kind of a similar challenge and a similar way of doing it. Some weeks maybe are a little more predictable than others, but in the end, we don't know what they're going to do until we actually get into the game and see what adjustments they've made, what game plan they've used, and how effective what we're trying to do is going to be against that. Maybe we don't have to change anything, or maybe they've done something that's not conducive to what our thought process was prior to the game.
Bill, after the game, Jakobi Meyers said that it was an ugly situation. He didn't like how Mac was treated when he got pulled. Does it worry you, or how do you handle making sure that there isn't a split in the locker room?
Yeah, I didn't talk to Jakobi after the game, so yeah, I'm not sure about all that.
Bill, is it a competition this week between the two quarterbacks, or could you foresee a scenario by which you enact the same plan you used last night on Sunday against the Jets?
We'll evaluate the situation as we always do and see what the options are and take the one that we feel like is best for the football team.
Is that the first time you've ever had a game plan where you had a quarterback set to play 3 series and then the backup set to go in as a head coach?
No, and that's, again, a fairly, I won't say common, but at other positions, it's a similar, we've been through that in similar other positions for, again, a variety of reasons, but yeah, that's what we feel like is best for the team, and that's what, and I think that's the decision we're going to make.
Bill, you always talk about the importance of practice and, where guys, like you said, it is a competition. Is there a specific day, whether it's Saturday walkthrough, where the team or maybe the captains, like you said, and a specific player at the position knows heading into the game based on where his rep distribution might have been through the week. Is it pretty common by Saturday that the guy really knows whether or not, okay, even if I am going to rotate, I might be the first guy going in? Or is it something that's more of a, game time decision, a few hours before the game when they're kind of figuring out what their role is going to be?
Yeah, it would all depend on the situation, Jermaine. As you know, times you have, game day workouts that you determine the status of the player a few hours before the game. And so certainly things could change one way or the other based on how that workout goes and how the players, what his availability and what his participation level is. So it could definitely go up till game time, or it could be declared on practice when we start the week of practice on Wednesday. It would just all depend on the individual situation and the specific circumstances of the players that are involved.
All right, Bill. We'll let you get to work. Thanks for taking the time this morning. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, sounds good. Talk to you next week. Thanks, Greg.
All right.